Okay, so where is the screen? It's right here. It's right here. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat after me.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram
Naram Chaiva
Chaiva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswatim Vyasam
Vyasam
Tadho Jayamudiraye
Tato
Tato
Jayam
Jayadi Mudave
Udire
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Abhadreshu
Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevayaha
Bhagavati Uttamashloke
Bhagavati
Bhagavati
Uttama
Uttama
Shloke
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigim.
Bhaktir
Bhaktir
Bhavati
Bhavati Naishtikim.
Naishtikim.
Om. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, first two words. So we are beginning this chapter. This is the section of the Bhakti Yoga. So from this chapter till 12th chapter, this is known as Bhakti Yoga section. So we were going through the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. Now today, so you are entering into the Bhakti Yoga section. So in this section, we will come to know, we will understand what is required for Bhakti Yoga. And this chapter is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. It's not the conclusion or culmination of Bhakti Yoga. The culmination of Bhakti Yoga is the 12th chapter. This is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. And in this chapter, it tells us, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's very important to understand that's the beginning, first step to enter into the Bhakti Yoga, to understand, to know about the Supreme. Adho Shraddha. In the beginning, there should be a faith. The faith to whom? The Supreme Lord. So that's why this chapter is titled as the knowledge of the Absolute. So Krishna is giving the knowledge of the Supreme to Arjuna. So Arjuna was a layman in the beginning, was not sure about what to do and what not to do. So Krishna became a guru, spiritual master for Arjuna, so that we can see in the second chapter. Arjuna says, I am surrendering unto you, O Lord. Please instruct me what is best for me. So Krishna then revealing this transcendental knowledge. So gradually progressing, gradually making Arjuna to understand from all aspect of the life. All aspect of the life. From beginning to the activities. Then when we do the activities, we naturally bound by the results of, or the fruitive activities or the results of the acts. 99% of the people in this world are bound by the look for the results of the activities and so much of attachment to the results of the activities. And then they create a bondage in this material world just by their activities. But Krishna says, Arjuna, you can liberate yourself, just surrender the results unto me, so that you will liberate yourself. You don't need to be bound or create bondage in this material world. Then Krishna further explaining the details of Arjuna naturally have a question, right? Why should I surrender the fruitive results or my results to, whom? Whom should I surrender? I mean, yes, I am working for me, I get the results, I get, all the results. Why should I surrender? So then Krishna is explaining, yes, everything comes from the Supreme Lord. He is the maintainer, He is the creator, and He is the, annihilator. From Him everything comes. We are just an instrument. We are also, even the activities also which come from only by the sanctions of the Lord, we can do even our activities. So we are bound by the laws of the nature, the laws of the nature which manifest from the Supreme Lord. So, so, so everything we are belongs to the Lord. So this is giving the Jnana Yoga. Krishna is giving that the knowledge of the Supreme in the 4th chapter, the Jnana, the knowledge. So, but that's when we ask the question, what is the difference between the knowledge of the Absolute and the transcendental knowledge? One is Gyan and this is Vigyan. One is the knowledge of the Supreme and this is the realized transcendental knowledge of the Supreme. So one is Gyan, the next one is Vigyan, or the realized knowledge. So that's the difference. So that's we are. Then, from the 5th chapter, then Krishna is completely revealing that one who is completely renounce his work, his fruits of his activities, and completely surrender unto the Supreme. Understanding he is the benefactor of, he is the super, he's the well-wisher of all living entities. Then, Arjuna, Krishna is revealing all those to the Arjuna, and then one can easily, uh, you know, go back to home, back to Godhead, and liberate himself, one who consider Krishna as the Supreme. That is the culmination of the 5th chapter of Karma Yoga. By our activities, that should be in line with the laws of material nature, and then one should work for Krishna and completely surrender the fruits of the activities to Krishna and work under, the directions of the Krishna. Then one can easily go back to Krishna. This is Karma Yoga section culminated the 5th chapter. Then further, Krishna is giving another way. It's called Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means one who practice the 8 limbs of the yoga, or to unite. There are 8 limbs of yoga. That's it is mentioned in the 6th chapter that prana. There is yama. You have to follow the rules and regulations. Yama niyama. Then asanas. You have to control. You have to regulate your body. That is asana. Then pranayama. You have to control and regulate your uh, prana, the breathing processes. That is pranayam. So then asana, pranayam, pratyahar. You have to control your diet. You have to control your senses, urges of the senses. This is all pratyahara. Then naturally we won't be so much eager for all these material sensual activities in this world. Then mind, you have to control your mind. That's what is pratyahara. Then dharana. Then you have to understand who is the Supreme and how to perform those activities, dharana. Then dhyana, meditation upon the Supreme, then completely meditate upon the Supreme, devoid of all this material, bodily, sensual, mental activity, completely meditate upon the Supreme. Then comes to the stage of samadhi. This is a long process, this is a difficult process. So Krishna is revealing this also. This way one can attain the Supreme. But Krishna says that this is a long process, and the success rate in the Karma Yoga, success rate for the Jnana Yoga, and the success rate of the Ashtanga Yoga is very low, very low. So culmination of Ashtanga Yoga is that 56th chapter, 47th verse. That is, Krishna says that, right, in the last, Saddhavan Bhajade Yoma Same Yukta Tamo Madaha, right? Krishna says that one who in me, abides me in their heart, Saddhavan, one who has faith, Shraddha. So one who has the faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always worship in his heart with loving devotional service, he is the greatest of all yogis. So here, remember, this up to this sixth chapter, there are various ways that Krishna is revealing that one can attain the Supreme, but it's a long, difficult process. So here, Krishna is giving a simple formula, right? He says that the Shraddhavan Bhajade Yoma Same Yuktama. Shraddhavan, one who has the faith in me. And then now in the seventh chapter, this is the knowledge of the Absolute. In order to attain that faith in Krishna, Shraddha. So Krishna is giving this, the Vigyan, the realized knowledge to Arjuna. That's what it is known as the knowledge of the Absolute. And Krishna is beginning with such a beautiful instruction to Arjuna. So we'll start with that. So Bhagavad Gita 7.1, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Please, everybody can repeat after me. Om Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Om Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Maya Saktamano Manapartha
Maya
Maya
sakta mana
Saktamana
partha.
Partha
Yogam Yunjanmadasrayaha
Yogam
Yogam
yunjan
Yunjan
madashraya.
Madashraya
Asamshayam Samagram Mam
Asamshayam
Asamshayam Samagram
samabrahmam.
Mam
Yada Jnasyasi Tachranu
Yatha
Yadha Gyanyasi Tachrano
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri
Shri
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Vacha.
Vacha
Maya Saktamana Partha
Maya
Maya
sakta mana
Saktamana
partha.
Partha
Yogam Yunjanmadasrayaha
Yogam
Yogam
yunjan
Yunjan Madashraya
madashraya.
Asamshayam Samagram Mam
Asamshayam
Samagram
samabrahmam.
Yada Jnasyasi Tachranu.
Yatha
Yatha
jnasya
Jnasya
tashrunu.
Tachrano
Please recite, Mataji and Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Sri
Shri
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Uvacha
Vacha.
Maya Sakta Mana Partha
Maya
Maya
Sakta Mana
sakta mana
Partha
partha.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya
Yogam
Yogam
Yunjan
yunjan
Madasrayaha
madashraya.
Asamshayam Samagraham Mam
Asamshayam
Asamshayam
Samagraham
samabrahmam.
Yatha Nayasi Tachrano
Yada
Yatha
Jnasyasi
jnanasi
Tachranu.
tashrunu. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Sri Bhagavan
Shri Bhagavan
Uvacha
Vacha
Maya sakta mana partha.
Maya
Maya
Sakta Mana
Sakta Mana
Partha
Partha
Yogam yunjan madashraya.
Yogam Yunjan
Yogam Yunjan
Madasrayaha
Madashraya
Asamshayam samagrama.
Asamshayam
Asamshayam
Samagraham
Samagraham
Yatha jnasya trashunu.
Yada
Yatha
Jnasyasi
Nyasasi
Tachranu.
Tachrano
Prabhuji.
Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri
Shri
Bhagavan
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 Uvacha
Vacha.
Vacha
May Akta Mahe Parato
Maya
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 Sakta
Sakta
Mana
Mana
Partha
Partha
Yogam Yanjam Mad Ashraya
Yogam
Yogam
Yunjan
Yogam
yunjan
Yunjan
Madasrayaha
madashraya.
Madashraya
Asam Ashyam Samakramam
Asamshayam
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 Samagraham
samabrahma.
Samagraham
Yata Jnanayasi Tacharno
Yada
Yatha
Yatha
Jnasya.
jnanasi
Nyasasi
trashunu.
Tachrano
Everybody else.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Sri
Shri
Bhagavan
Shri
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Uvacha
Vacha.
Vacha
मया सक्तमनः पार्थ
Maya
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 Sakta Mana
sakta
Sakta Mana
mana
Partha
partha.
Partha
योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः
Yogam
Yogam
Yunjan
Yogam
yunjan
Yunjan
Madasrayaha
madashraya.
Madashraya
असंशयं समग्रं माम्
Asamshayam
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 Samagraham
samabrahma.
Samagraham
यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु
यथा
यथा
ज्ञास्यसि
ज्ञास्यसि
तृष्णो
तच्छृणु
We'll go by word meaning, synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha,
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Supreme Lord said,
The Supreme
The
Lord
Supreme Lord said,
Mai,
Mai
मयि
me,
to me,
Asakta Manaha,
आसक्तमनः
Asakta
Manaha,
mind attached,
mind
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 attached
attached,
Partha,
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 O son of Pritha,
O son of
O
Pritha,
son of Pritha,
Yogam,
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 self-realization,
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 Yunjan,
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 practicing,
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 Mad Asrayaha,
Madashrayaha,
Ashrayaha,
in conscious of me, Krishna consciousness,
in
In
conscious of
conscious of me,
me,
consciousness
Krishna
of
Krishna
me,
consciousness.
Krishna
consciousness,
consciousness,
Asamshayam,
Asamshaya,
Asamshayam,
without doubt,
without doubt,
without doubt,
Samagram,
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 completely,
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 Mam,
Mam,
me,
Mam,
me,
me,
Yada,
Yatha,
Yataha,
how,
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 Yasyasi,
yes, yes,
Nasasi,
you can know,
you can know,
you can know
Tat,
that,
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 Prano,
Shunu,
try
Shranam,
to hear.
try to
try to hear.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Ki Jai.
Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead
God has
said,
said,
Now hear,
now
now
here,
here,
O son of Pritha,
O
O
son
son
of
of
Pritha,
Pratha,
how by practicing yoga
how by
by
practicing
practicing
yoga
yoga,
in full consciousness of me,
in full
full
consciousness of
consciousness of
me,
me,
with mind attached to me,
with
with
mind
mind attached to
attached to
me,
me,
you can know me in full,
you
you can
can
know
know
me
me
in
in
full,
full,
free from doubt.
free
free
from
from
doubt.
doubt.
Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. So please, this is a very powerful statement of Srila Prabhupada. As we know that this is not an ordinary language, ordinary words, or some, usual mundane words. These are very transcendental words from a realized personality, Srila Prabhupada. So these are the realized knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada says, so you have to pay more attention to, this Bhagavad Gita verses and the purport. And it's completely gives such a different realm and understanding. So please pay attention. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. So we know that Krishna is great, but we don't know how Krishna is great. So here in this chapter, which is revealing how Krishna is great, and with so many ways. So we'll see, in this throughout this chapter, how Krishna is great. Also, four kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and four kinds of unfortunate people who never take Krishna are described in this chapter. So we will, when we go down, we'll see that there are four kinds of people never surrender unto Krishna. It says that Namam Dushkurdino Mudha, the foolish, Prabhadyande Naradhama, the lowest among the man, Nara Adhaman, Naradhama. Maya Abhakrita Jnanam, Maya, by the, it's the knowledge, the real knowledge, the knowledge is stolen by the illusionary potency. Maya Abhakrita Jnanam, those people. Asurim, the demons. Namam Dushkridino Muda Prabhadyande Naradama, Maya Abhakrita Jnanam, Asurim Bhava, Asrudaha. They do not, come to me. Krishna says, four kinds of people. Then also Krishna says there are four kinds of people also approach me. Chadurvida bhajande mam, jana sukrudino Arjuna, artho artharti jignasu, jnanina bharatarshabha. Krishna says that artho artharti jignasu, artho, Artho means one who is inquisitiveness. Artharthi means one who is, looking for wealth. Artharthi. Jignasu, one who is one who is looking for the transcendental knowledge, right? The knowledge, the one who is seeking for the transcendental knowledge. Jignasu. Jnani, one who is the one who knows the Lord, one who knows. Jnani means one who has the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Bharadashama. So those people will also come to me. So that's it is mentioned here in this purport. So then Srila Prabhupada gives a summary of the first 6 chapters. In the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. So this is the summum bonum of the first 6 chapters. That means somehow we are not these material entities, but we are spiritual entities. So our nature is spiritual, not the material. So because of the lack of knowledge, because of the poor fund of knowledge, because of our forgetfulness, then we don't come to that understanding that we are the spirit soul, we are eternal. So in the first 6 chapters, in the second chapter onwards, Krishna is revealing this transcendental knowledge. We are spirit soul. And somehow we have to elevate ourselves to the Krishna. Somehow we have to have a yoga. Some either through the work or through the jnana or through the Ashtanga yoga. Somehow we have to have some relationship. Somehow we have to have some connection with the Supreme. Yoga means to connect. Connection with that Supreme. So that's the first 6 chapter is revealing and mentioning that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here as well. Different types of yogas. And at the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. Right? Yoginam abhi sarveshu mad gedendera andaratmana. Yoginam abhi, out of all yogis, yoginam abhi sarveshu, out of all yogis, one who abides in their heart, yoginam abhi sarveshu mad gedendera andaratmana, one who takes me in their heart, yoginam abhi sarveshu mad gedendera andaratmana shraddhavan. So who was one who was such a faith, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, one who was engaged in loving devotional service in full Krishna conscious of me, he will be he is the greatest of all yogis. So Krishna is giving that such a wonderful, powerful statement and revealing that the truth and transcendental truth, that why the Krishna consciousness or the bhakti is the topmost of all. So Srila Prabhupada is revealing Krishna is, that's why Bhagavad Gita as it is. This Krishna, this Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Personality of Godhead spoke, and many people have many kinds of interpretation of this, not understanding. So one who is a pure devotee can understand what Krishna is revealing. So Srila Prabhupada is revealing this transcendental knowledge that one who is in Krishna consciousness, that's why Srila Prabhupada put International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Our movement is nothing but Bhakti Yoga. I was watching today morning, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech revealing releasing the coin, this 125th anniversary commemorative coin. And he was also mentioning, yes, there were many yogis. Yes, there is no lack of. But the Bhakti Yoga is spread all over the world is only by Srila Prabhupada. The Bhakti Yoga, the pure Krishna consciousness is nothing but a Bhakti Yoga. So it's very important to understand or come to this conclusion, come to this understanding. So Krishna consciousness is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's minds upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth. So this is a very powerful statement. So in the Srila Rupa Goswami, in the Nectar of Devotion, it is mentioned, it's revealed that Adha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet na indriya sevonmuko hi jihvadu swayam eva spuradiyada. Krishna cannot be known, Adha Sri Krishna Namati, na bhavet na indriya, by the blunt senses or by our mental speculation, Krishna cannot be known. And only by Sevon Mukhohi Jihwadu Seva, by the loving devotional service unto the Supreme, Swayameva, he himself reveals to such devotees. Swayameva Spiritiyata. And it's mentioned, and even Brahma is also revealing this in the Brahma Samhita. Brahma is saying that Advaidam Achyudam Anadim Anandarupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Even Krishna Brahma is saying Krishna is Advaita. He is, not two. He is everlasting. Advaitam, there is no two. He is only the one. He is existing. He is who is everything. Advaitam, Achyudam, he is infallible. Advaitam, Achyudam, Anadim, he is everlasting. Another, he is original. Advaitam, Achyudam, Anadim, Ananda Rupam. Ananda Rupam, there is infinite forms of the Supreme. Ananda Rupam. Adhyam, he is original. Puranam, he is historic. He is, there is no one, beyond Krishna. Adhyam Puranam, Purusham, he is the person. That's why Srila Prabhupada mentioned Supreme Personality. He is Bhagavan. He is Bhagavan. Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the same statement also Arjuna makes into this 10th chapter. He says that, Krishna says that, Param Dham. Oh Krishna. Krishna says, Paramam Pavitram Bhavan Purusham Shashwadam Divyam. Purusham Shashwadam Divyam. The similar statement. Purusham Shashwadam. So he is Purusha. Adhyam Purana Purusham. Navayavvanam. He is ever youthful. Navayavvanam Ja. Such Krishna. Right? And such Krishna cannot be understood by the Vedas. Cannot be understood even by the Vedas. Krishna, Brahma speaking, Vedeshu Durlabham. By the Vedas, even we cannot understand Krishna. By Vedeshu Durlabham, then Adurlabham Atma Bhakto, it is easily attainable, easily understandable. Adurlabham. Durlabham means very rare. Rare means it's very difficult. Adurlabham means easy. So in order to understand Krishna, Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. So the one who renders loving devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead is Bhakta. So he can understand this. So Krishna will reveal himself to such devotees. So it is always says, right, by the mercy of the Krishna, we can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there was a nice pastime which happened not many years ago, around just before the British leaves the India. Many of you must have heard about that. There is a temple in Radha Gopinath's temple in Jaipur. So we know that when the Mughals attacked Vrindavan, the deities, the original deities, brought from Vrindavan to Jaipur. One of the deities known as the Radha Gopinath, deities, and brought to the Jaipur. And since then, the Jaipur palace, they were worshipping this Radha Gopinath deity at the in the temple in the Jaipur. And then there was Raja Man Singh, was the last king of these emperorships and the kingships, and the Raja Man Singh was very much in friendly relationship with the viceroy of British India. He was the second last viceroy of the British India. I forgot the name, and it is there under the. So they were very friends. One day, this viceroy came to meet Raja Man Singh. That time, Raja Man Singh was in the temple and worshipping the Radha Gopinathji. And then, wonderfully, it was passing like 30 minutes went by. 1 hour went by. He was very impatient, this viceroy. He was sitting and then he was asking the Raja Man Singh servants when he is coming back. He said, yes, wait, he's doing the worship, he's doing the puja of Sri Radha Gopinathji. And then it was passed by like another 30 minutes passed, 1 hour for 30 minutes, then 2 hours passed, 2.5 hours passed. This viceroy was so much impatient. And then finally, after 3 hours of long, wonderful worship of Radha Gopinathji, Raja Mansingh came out and met this viceroy. So this viceroy was very much impatient and started to talk. What are you doing? You're just worshipping some stones and spending all your time for this, just some stones and worshipping some stones like this, and does not have any life. I mean, what? The Raja Mansingh was very much upset with these words of it. Raja Mansingh mentioned, no, 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 it's not like that. This is the Lord. This is Lord Himself, the Supreme Lord Himself, Krishna Himself. He's not just a stone. He's the deity form. He is there. So then Viceroy was not agreeing with the Raja Mansingh. His Viceroy said, "You're just, you're talking nonsense." Then Viceroy Raja Mansingh, no, it's not that. It is real. We realize it. We understand this. Then Viceroy said, yes, it has a life. It is Lord Himself. Can you prove this? Can you prove this? Okay, look at this. I have a watch. And those days, this is the first time that, the foreigners had a watch, the kind of watch, mechanical watch in the sense, there is, when you move your hands, it automatically create, that it start to move, right? It's actually start to work when you move your hands. And I think many of you must have, I seen that such watch, when you move your hands, it's automatically keyed and then watch starts to work. So look at this. This is the watch. If he has life, if he got life and he is not deity, you tie this watch to, his hands, it's on his wrist. Let me see. This has to move and it won't work. If it doesn't move, it won't work in a one day. After a day, it won't work. So I'll come after 3 days. You tell me, and then you prove me that this Gopinathji, the watch still works. Then I can believe. So this viceroy went after, and Raja Man Singh tied this wrist, this watch to the on the wrist of the Lord Gopinathji, and then this viceroy came back 3 days, and he couldn't believe, and his watch was working, and he couldn't believe, and he said, okay, somebody must start doing something. Then he waited. He waited and he completely put his own people over there and making sure that nobody is going in and nobody is doing anything like that. And Raja Man Singh also agreed with that. And the days passed and the weeks passed. And the viceroy came back and looked at the watch. The watch is still running. And you can see that if you go to Jaipur temple, still the watch is there on the Radha Gopinathji temple. I saw that the picture, and let me share that picture with you all. It's a beautiful to see it. See, look at this. Are you able to see the picture? Hare Krishna?
Not Prabhuji.
Eh? Okay,
No.
let me share then. Okay. Are you able to see now?
Yeah, we can see now.
See that? So there is a watch on his left hand on the wrist. Still running, this watch. So this is this word it is mentioned. So Lord is not just an ordinary or just like that. Lord reveals to his devotees. Lord reciprocate to his devotees. And let me share the screen again. Yeah.
What?
So go ahead. Somebody was speaking something. Hare Krishna.
What is the name of the temple, Prabhuji?
Radha Gopinathji temple. Radha Gopinath.
Where it is?
It's in Jaipur.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there are loads of wonderful pastimes there, in reciprocation with the devotees. The Lord is right there. Lord is there. You know that in Udupi temple, in Udupi, initially when Madhavacharya received the deity, I mean that's a wonderful story. I think many of you know that. How many of you know how the Lord Krishna manifested in Udupi? I think many of you know. Please, can you tell me? I mean, if whether you know or not, can you just unmute and tell me how many of you know the story how the Udupi Krishna manifested in Udupi? How many of you know?
Prabhuji, I don't know.
You
I
don't
don't
know?
know, Prabhuji. I don't
I
know.
don't know, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me tell you this one. This is a beautiful, beautiful pastime of Krishna. So when Krishna was in, Dwaraka, and Mother Rukmini was there, Devaki Mata was there, and everybody was talking about Krishna's wonderful Bala Leela in Vrindavan. Krishna was going around and, with the beautiful yellow clothes and the turban and the flute and going around the houses and stealing the butter and wonderful, wonderful pastimes. They all heard about it. So they had they wanted to see Krishna in that form of Bala Leela. So they were requested to Krishna, Krishna, can you become the small, like a Krishna in the in the Gokul and in Vrindavan? Can you become like that? And can you show me some of your, wonderful pastimes, so we would get such a pleasure, such a joy? So they were requesting to Krishna that, can you do this? So Krishna agreed. Krishna always fulfilled the desires of his devotees. So Krishna agreed, and Krishna became Bala Gopal, like a, like 5-year-old boy. So, also like, yeah, not 5-year, I would say like 3-year-old boy, likes that. Bala Gopal. Bala means up to 5 year. So Bala. So then Krishna was just going around, and the same thing was happening. Krishna, stealing the butter and things like that. So they were so much attached to the form of the beautiful form of that Bala Gopal, that Krishna, the beautiful, beautiful form of Krishna. And you know that even Shiva came down to see Krishna's baby form, right? So beautiful. And there is no words to explain the beauty of Krishna. So here then, then Krishna, of course, as in Dwaraka, is the king, he is the protector of everybody. So Krishna regained on his original form, but Krishna made a wonderful way that Krishna also manifested as a deity form of that. And whenever Mother Rukmini wanted to see that Krishna in that form, Krishna want, see in that and meditate upon Krishna's Leela. In order to do that, Krishna also manifested in the form of a deity. That is a Balagopal. And their Mother Rukmini was every day worshipping that deity, Mother Rukmini. Krishna, yes, Krishna goes, Astinapur, Krishna goes here. And that's the way it is. When our worshipable personality is not there in our home, so we worship their form, like picture and their form, their deity. Even we know that our Guru Maharaj is not there, so we worship the Guru Maharaj picture, or the deity form. Srila Prabhupada, we worship the deity form like that. So it was there since beginning, this custom. So Mother Rukmini was worshipping, Mother Rukmini was so attached to the Balagopala form and worshipping. Then later we know that, the Dwaraka, Krishna disappeared, and the Dwaraka was invaded by the water came over, ocean came over, it's completely. Then this deity also actually stuck in the mud, in the Gopi Chandan, in the mud. So later everything there, the years passed, even 300 years back. 300 years back, there was a merchant who was going from the south to the north side, in the west side of the Dwaraka. So what this merchant was doing, going there and buying and collecting the stuff from there. I mean, it's all, the religious paraphernalia, like, various articles, and going there and collecting everything, bringing back to the southern side and selling it. So this merchant. So this merchant went there, those, 300 years back, everybody more depending upon the ships. So they went there and brought back a lot of stuffs. So this time, one day, and on the evening time, Madhavacharya, Sri Madhavacharya was doing his evening, tarpan. Evening, when the devotees, pure devotees, wherever they are, they go to the near the shore side. They sit there and that they chant their Gayatri, and then they worship the lordships. And Madhavacharya was doing like this, and all on a sudden, in the ocean, there was a big hurricane came up and developed, and so much of storm and thunderstorms, and this ship was some kind of shaking in the waves, and it was going to destroy. And so this captain of the ship, he was a merchant, he was the captain of the ship, now trying to bring the ships close towards the shore. And he saw that Madhavacharya, and then Madhavacharya also saw this scene. Madhavacharya just raised his veil, his chadar, his veil, and just waved it. All on a sudden, this complete hurricane, this storm, everything is stopped. And this captain, this merchant, was so pleased with that act, and he understood that this is not an ordinary person. So he came to the shore, and he nearby, and came to the shore, and paid his obeisances and requested to Madhavacharya, "You saved me. What can I do for you? This is my identity. I'm a merchant. I go there and bring there, and a lot of stuffs." And this merchant showed the stuff which he brought from the Gujarat in the Dwarka side. The Madhavacharya saw a chunk of clay, and it's a gopi chandan. You know that the chunk of clay is a gopi chandan we put on our forehead. So Madhavacharya saw a chunk of gopi chandan. Madhavacharya said, if I can get that one, that'd be great. So merchant was very happily gave that chunk of. It's a very heavy and chunk of gopi chandan. And then when it is brought out from the ship, and then it's immediately broke down. It's immediately broke this chunk of clay, and Madhavacharya saw a beautiful deity of Krishna. And it was so heavy, and it's not it's so heavy, even three people cannot carry it alone. But Madhavacharya was the incarnation of the wind god, Vayu Bhagavan, and wind god, and he is very powerful. And Madhavacharya took this deity and brought to the Udupi, the hills of the Udupi, and initiated the deity over there and established. So the point I was trying to make, and this is the way the Lord manifested in Udupi. Look at that, right? The Lord himself, the deity, the Lord is there. We cannot hide our Lord. When Lord wants to manifest, Lord manifest. When Lord wants to hide, he will hide. This was the same case for the Madhavendra Puri in Govardhan. When the Mughals attacked, the devotees are actually hid the Gopalji deities under the bush in the Vrindavan. And almost 200 years, this bush was underneath of this deity of Gopalji was underneath of a bush in the Vrindavan. One day, Madhavendra Puri had a beautiful dream that, I am lying down here underneath of this bush for so many years. Can you come and take me out? Next day, Madhavendra Puri went there and dig there the place where he had a dream. There he saw that the beautiful deity of a Gopalji, and then brought that deity to the Govardhan. That's why we can see that the Gopalji deity on the Govardhan. Look at that, dear devotees. The Lord reveals, Lord knows to whom to reveal. And if Lord want to manifest, he will manifest. And Lord wants to stay away, he will stay away, when there is devotees, when, this all happens. The Lord is not just the deities. So then, Madhavacharya established, installed the deity in the Udupi temple. So initially, we all know that when we install the deity, it is always in a east facing, right? Madhavacharya installed in that time in east facing. Then years passed, centuries passed. In recent times, it's not that much time ago, there was a devotee called Kanagadas. This Kanagadas was very, very bhakta. He was a very devotee. He was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was so much heard about Krishna, and he had such a faith, developed such a faith for Krishna. Then what happened? So he wanted to see Krishna. But on those days, the lower caste people were not allowed to enter into the temple. And he was a little young guy, young boy, not, too old or anything. But he was very scholarly. He was trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and the Sanskrit. He was so much of faith in Krishna. And he had such a desire to see Krishna. And he came, even though he knew that he won't be allowed inside the temple. But somehow he had a friend in the other classes, and somehow with the help of this friend, he entered into the temple to see the Lord. But somehow the elder people, the caste brahmanas, they actually identified him, and then they caught him and tied to a tree on the west side, and they started to beat the Kanagadas. Kanagadas was so, innocent devotee of the Lord, and they were beating like anything. And the Kanagadas was started to cry and praying to the Lord. Oh Lord, I had only one desire to see you. I came to see you. Then this is what is you are going to give to me. All on a sudden, the deity was east facing, and the entrance was through the east side. All on a sudden, the deity turned towards the west. And turned towards the west, and there was a crack on the wall on the west side, and then that west side that broken out, and through created a hole in the west side, and where the Kanagadas was tied to a tree, there itself that Kanagadas could see the lordships, and everybody was astonished. And how is this possible? How is this possible? And then Kanagadas could see the lordships. And since then, the deity is facing to the west side. And then they made a dwara, like it's called dwara, means like a small window, that is called Kanaka Kindi. In there it says that Kanakana Kindi. That's what is that window is known as. So now, earlier people used to come through the east side. Now everybody has to goes to the west side to see through that hole to the lordships. So this is so wonderful and so beautiful, that how Krishna is reciprocating to his devotee. There are so many pastimes like that. If you take it, we know that that when Lord directly even present to take the devotees back, there is a so many. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered into the deity of Gopinathji in Chota Gopinathji, Tota Gopinathji in Jagannath Puri. Tukaram, Lord himself came and taken Tukaram Maharaj back to the abode. Lord himself came down. And there is a devotee known as Pundhanan Nambudripad in Kerala. Lord appeared, manifested before him, even before taking him. And that Lord appeared, the place is still there, and there is a temple there, and they worship there the Lord. The Lord manifested in order to take him back. He was a pure devotee of the Lord Pundanam, and Lord take back, Pundanam Nambudripad back to the Goloka Vrindavan. There is a devotee called Kuru Ramma. She was a lady, and Lord was personally going there and serving this devotee. Can you imagine? And it's not just the story, or this was happened not many years ago. The Villumangalam Samyar, the Villumangalam was a name of a mud, Villumangalam. And there are many great devotees were there into those mud, those sannyasi, clan that's called as Villumangala. It's the same, it's a clan come down to the. So there was a sannyasi, Villumangalam Samyar, when he went to Guruvayur temple, he couldn't see the Lord there. And he could understand that he was a great devotee, so he could understand that where is the Lord. So Lord, he could understand that Lord is going there to a devotee's house and serving this devotee. And even this Kururama didn't know that this is a Krishna. So he was very naughty and serving this. And Kururama was very old and staying alone and couldn't do so many works, household works. Krishna was personally going there doing all the household works. And Krishna told to that Kururama that, I am from the nearby village. Your, servant, your caretaker was instructed me to come here. So Krishna, he was taking such a steps, and even Kururama, because of his naughtiness, sometimes Kururama take this boy and put it into a big jar of, coal, and even Krishna is already black, but when he come out from this coal jar, he'll be more black. Krishna is enjoying all this. And then this Amma also directly is disappeared and went back to Krishna. So there are so many examples out there, so many ways that how devotees are actually attaining Krishna. Devotees. So this is not just some make-up stories or anything like that. This was all happened. This all wonderfully happened. If you closely go and reveal and understand these various aspects of this bhakti, you can easily understand that Krishna is right there in his form of deity, his form of in the Bhagavad Gita, in the form of the holy name. So much realization. That's why the knowledge of the absolute here, this is a realized knowledge. Everybody can realize the Krishna in his service, by the service and by the bhakti, and likes that. So I was taking a detour here in this purport of, Srila Prabhupada. So let's go back to the purport of Srila Prabhupada. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about the Brahmajyotir or Paramatma in full. Dear devotees, this is the fact, and this is the transcendental subject matter. One who is in the bhakti, in the devotion, he can easily understand what Krishna need, how Krishna likes, what Krishna's, everything. And in full in the sense, Krishna will reveal himself to that devotee. And many times we know that, when Krishna went to Mathura, to Kamsa, requested Krishna and Balaram to come to Mathura. Krishna ordered, not requested, ordered to come to for the wrestling match. Krishna's intention was to kill, Kamsa's intention was to kill Krishna. So then there was arena was there, everybody came, lots of people, and it was full. So when Krishna entered into the arena of the wrestling match, there were so many types of audiences. Kamsa and all the other warriors on the Kamsa side, they saw that Krishna is coming like a death personified. They were started to tremble with the fear because of Krishna is entering as death personified. Many yogis sees Krishna as in their heart that they saw the form of 400 Vishnu form. They saw Krishna as the 400 Vishnu forms like that. But the pure devotees, the gopas and the gopis who is associated with Krishna, they saw Krishna as the beautiful Shyamasundara form. Beautiful Krishna, peacock, beautiful Shyamasundara form. And this is the vision of dear devotees, and this is what is Krishna is reveals to such devotees, and Krishna reveals accordingly, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Ye yadhamam prabadhyande stamstadeva sajamiham mama vartamanu vartande manushya partha sarvashaha." I reward them accordingly how they approach me. Everybody follows my path, and this is what it is. If they wanted to see Krishna as a death, Krishna shows that form of death to them. But one who wants to know Krishna as their beautiful, friend or beautiful lover or beautiful, as it's mentioned here, like, Balagopal. Mother Rukmini wanted to see in the form of Krishna as a Balagopal. And Krishna was, revealed, and Krishna was, as a Balagopal. And even if you go to Udupi temple, the worship of the Udupi temple like a Balagopal, like a Bala, Gopal. And then what is going there? Waking up the morning and then giving some playtimes for Krishna, and then giving the curd and the butter, and and making him sleep in the afternoon, and then playing times. This is the kind of worship. Think about it, right? So beautiful, so wonderful. So Krishna, it is meant one who takes directly the Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyotir and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness, yoga, one can know everything in full, namely absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestation with the paraphernalia. The devotees, this is possible. So it is so nice to understand, so nice to go through. And I would humbly request, please go through the rest of the purport. I didn't complete the rest of the purport, but it's already 8:06. So I would humbly stop here, but we would please go ahead and read, after this class or whenever you get the time, so you can understand more. So the all purport and the essence of this verse, as Krishna says that by practicing yoga in full Krishna conscious of me, with mind attached to me, can be know me in full. Right? So Krishna reveals to such devotees, and that's what is I was saying. So thank you so much, and being there and listening. And yes, I mean we can talk a lot, but I think it's good enough for now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for being there. Hare Krishna. So are there any comments or any questions, concerns? Let's have some discussions also. That may help. No comments? No reflections? Anything like to add? Your realizations? Please go ahead. You can open some discussions. It's always good, right? Discussing the glories of Krishna. We just had a wonderful Janmashtami. So it says that Janma Karma Jame Divyam is a 4.9, the ninth verse. Janma Karma Jame Divyam Evam Yovedi Tattvadaha Tektva Deham Punar Janma Naidi Mamedi Savarchana. My transcendental appearance and activities are divine. One who knows this, upon leaving the body, never comes back into this material world and will come back to me. See how powerful statement it is. So this is the this is the importance of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is nothing but hearing. So that's the word Srila Prabhupada is actually leaving, giving the purpose. Sranodam, Shravanam Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtanam. Just hearing the Punya Shravana Kirtanam. So just by hearing, one can eradicate all the unwanted taste for our senses and the hearing and all unwanted taste for all the other anarthas. Just by hearing, and naturally we can develop the Krishna consciousness. So it's very, very wonderful to discuss, the subject matter of bhakti among the devotees. It's very, wonderful. Yeah. Anybody would like to add anything before we conclude?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very nice pastimes, Prabhuji. Really enjoyed a lot. Prabhuji, I had a question in terms of like in the beginning you mentioned that there are four kinds of people who get Krishna and four kinds of people who cannot get Krishna.
Right.
So in terms of in that context, when we know the story of Jagai Madhani, so were they kind of in the category of the people that who will get Krishna? I mean, like I've heard that they were so fallen and they
Yes.
even hit Nitai. So how did they fit in this category?
Wow. Wonderful question, Mataji. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's very powerful. Wonderful question. Yes, there are people, those who are not in this category. It says that, right? As Krishna says, right? That the one among the foolish, right? The muda, the foolish, the demoniac, they never come to Krishna. They never come to Krishna. Yeah. Namam dushkridino muda. Yes. Prabandindina, Radhama, lowest among the mind. They won't. They will not come to Krishna. Even Jagai and Madai, they were not coming to Krishna. They were attacking the Nityananda Prabhu. They were attacking the Nityananda Prabhu. So when they attacked Nityananda Prabhu was nothing but Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu went to Jagai and Madai, was requesting, please stop all this nonsense and unwanted activities and then come to me, chant the holy name. That's the most, I mean, this will give you everything, all the happiness you are getting from the drink, from alcohol, all these abominable activities. You can directly get this from just by chanting the holy name. You don't need to look for anything else. This is an ocean of bliss. They were kind of drunkard. They took the pot and hit Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu was bleeding, and Haridas Thakur just ran to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rushed to the scene. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invoked the mantra to get the Sudarshana Chakra, even to kill. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was even ready to kill. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu all on a sudden followed the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you came down here to not to kill, but to purify even all the fallen conditioned soul. So here, by the mercy of when Nityananda Prabhu followed the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just hold. And this act was actually changed their Jagai and Madai's mind. Even they hit, the Nityananda Prabhu was bleeding, but Nityananda Prabhu was so merciful and compassionate to this fallen condition, Jagai and Madai. And Nityananda Prabhu felt that, can you please show your mercy to them? Nityananda Prabhu was pleading to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can you show your mercy to them so that they will come to Krishna consciousness? So it was because of the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showered the mercy to them, and because of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. When devotees request, when the devotees mercy there, so that's why when it comes to the question of who is more merciful, Lord or his devotees, there is a question: who is more merciful? Is it Lord or his devotees? Definitely, there is a long story out there, but I'm not getting. The devotees are always merciful. When the devotees mercy, then it all possible. So that's why, Srila Prabhupada, different great devotees, they are actually going out chanting the holy name. How? Why? Because of just by this is mercy of the devotees, and this is not our own capabilities or our own potency. This is the mercy of the devotees that we all have an opportunity. Otherwise, we are all fallen conditioned soul. It's very difficult even to attain Krishna. But when there is a mercy of devotees, then it is easy. That we are all kripa shaktis. We need kripa, mercy. All living conditioned souls need kripa. That's why Lord is also manifesting in the form of devotees or Shakti Vesha Avatar in order to give this mercy. So yes, Chaturvida, Nama Mushkrida, Dushkridana, Muda Prabandhina, they won't come to Krishna. But when there is a mercy of the devotees, then they all can get purified. Then what happened? Jagai and Madai, they get purified. Even they took the service. You know what the service they took? They became so humble. They became so humble and they realized what mistakes they were doing and what unabominable activities they were doing. They fall at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and then they took the service immediately. They took the service of, what? They going to the ghat. In olden days, people used to the ghat of the river, and they, all their, answering their nature's call and urinating and everything on the ghat, some side of the ghat, and they dig a, something like that, and they goes there on the open, field. And this Jagai and Madai took that service. As soon as the devotee come and they pass their answer the nature's call or the urine everything, these Jagai and Madai took a service of cleaning that ghat. They realized in such a that think about that. This is the mercy, dear. All on a sudden, because of the mercy, they completely transformed in Krishna consciousness. And I was going through a book, and even now the devotees later they raised a temple for this Jagai and Madai there in Bengal. So now there is a temple for them. People are worshipping them. This is the mercy. So by mercy, everything is possible. By mercy, everybody can be cured. Everybody can be come to purifies and can come to Krishna consciousness. So wonderful. Did it answer your question, Madaji?
Yes, Prabhu, wonderful explanation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody else want to share anything? Any other realizations? Any questions? Okay, so if there is nothing else, then let's conclude today's session. And thank you so much. And tomorrow there is a program at the temple. It starts at I think it's mentioned 6 p.m. Do you know that Gopalakrishna Maharaj Vyasa Puja? Tomorrow is also Ekadashi. What do you all think? We need to keep the program, or how many of you are going for the Vyasa Puja? We can discuss based on, we can put that way based on that.
I'll be going probably.
You will be going.
Yeah, I'll also be going.
You will be going.
Yes,
What
Prabhu, I was also planning to.
Sorry?
I was also planning to go.
You are also planning to go. Okay. Yeah. About other devotees? I think.
I'm available, Prabhu.
Sorry, Mataji?
I'll be available.
You will be available. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. About Mona Mataji?
I will be available.
You will be available. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, many devotees are going there as well, and maybe I'm sure the speaker also will be going. And so let's see what is the overall from other devotees. Let me also check with the speaker. He will be available too. Based on that, I will send out the the WhatsApp group message so that we can decide whether to keep the program or not. yeah, at least, some devotees are there. It's good to have it. Otherwise, if pretty much majority is going there and the speaker is going there, then we can, cancel them. Otherwise, it's always good to have the devotee association. This is a practical aspect of it. So yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining today, and hope you all had a wonderful Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada's appearance. And tomorrow is another Ekadashi, fast from grains and beans. Any devotional service, dear devotees, that if you take, and it is always beautiful. Even just by name of Krishna, if you take that one, we'll have such a wonderful, uh, way that we can connect to Krishna in this life. That's the purpose of all, to understand some way or other to connect with the Krishna's name, Krishna's paraphernalia, services and devotees. This way we can gradually progress to the level of the pure Krishna consciousness. So please try as much as you can, and so that our life will be sublime. Thank you so much. Let's conclude then today's session. So let's pay our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namo Namo.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Nandira Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. Let's conclude. Let's stop the share. Yeah.